abiogenesis, that's really interesting. I mean, I think the null hypothesis would be that, life would arise here through scientific mechanisms, through nature. I guess natural mechanisms is what I meant to say. But yeah, I mean, and we see no we see no point where we can detect the fingerprint of God, so to speak, on the creation of life on the planet. So I mean, those are interesting, but abiogenesis, we don't have a whole lot of evidence for that, but the null hypothesis is nature did it, and that's just how you work with science, and I'm good with that. Religious people who have this creationist bent, they're gonna balk at abiogenesis because we have no evidence. We're going with the null hypothesis, and I'm fine with that. I don't have a problem with that. It makes more sense than anything else we have. But they're always going to balk at that. But like I said, there's really just no evidence. The argument goes, well, that's the null hypothesis, and we kind of have an idea, and we keep looking for the ways that this could happen, and then we're going to look for the evidence for it. But at this point, we're taking it not exactly on faith, but you're really stuck with accepting the null hypothesis. I mean, if there's new science out there regarding abiogenesis, hey, somebody steer me in that direction. I haven't seen it, and that would be really cool. To throw up in the face of the creationists. Not that I'm telling anybody to actually throw up in the face of the creationists, but if you do, take a picture, because that would kind of be really gross, but kind of cool. Okay. You mentioned that your girlfriend is a pantheist, and I think you mentioned that before. And I don't know if I mentioned, but I had been a member of the World Pantheist Movement. I was actually on their board of directors for a short period of time, but I'm kind of a jerk. Yeah, you probably figured that out. And, I didn't really get along too well with them. So that didn't work out, and I told them goodbye. And they weren't sad to see me go. But yeah, pantheism's kind of cool. I've got no problem with that. I'm not sure that I don't see the universe that way, but I'm not sure that I do. And I guess I'll get back to that. Holy crap! 10 minutes of talking. I'm gonna have to divide this up. Wow. Okay. Well, you're gonna get a two-parter, Joe. I'm pulling an amendum on you. Just talking away. You mentioned, you don't like people imposing their views or beliefs on you, and I understand that. But I mean, I guess some people, when they feel that they found, the truth, they want to spread it around. And quite frankly, I mean, we see a lot of that on YouTube from all angles, even the atheists. Some folks that just really don't even understand what the hell they're talking about are on here with all kinds of crazy crap. I mean, just for instance, I love the one that you get from atheists. A theist says, well, what created the universe? It was God. And then, an atheist will go, well, what created God? And that's just a dumbass question. Because, they're talking about, a theist, when they're talking about God creating the universe, is talking about, something atemporal. So, something that's eternal. And we know that the universe isn't eternal. Well, we can trace it back to a beginning, so something may or may not have brought it into being. We're not sure. Again, it's that little tiny part of a second. But like I'm saying, you get these atheists who throw up that argument, and that's just a bullshit argument. Well, what created God? Well, we're postulating, when we say God created the universe, that's postulating an eternal being or the ground of being or whatever, whatever somebody wants to put in there. But, I'm just saying, you get a lot of that with this, a lot of atheists with that kind of nonsense. You get that, you get, somebody says something on YouTube and somebody's just jumping on them merely because they have the belief. So, you've got that. Okay, and then the last bit. you said you like to challenge, people's beliefs, and everybody should have their beliefs challenged, and I agree with that. But it's getting back to that whole idea that when you know the truth, you want to tell it to everybody. I find a lot of atheists, and I'll say a lot of atheists on YouTube as well, but they're not really challenged. They haven't really challenged those beliefs. They've gotten to the point, and this is getting back to the beginning. Nice little circular thing there. That was circular. Um, they kind of disprove to themselves, at least, that whatever Roman Catholicism is not correct. They disprove Catholicism. Okay. And so then they go with the null hypothesis, which is atheism. But that's not truly the null hypothesis. The null hypothesis is agnosticism. Check in my favorites. There's a link in there. I don't like to give shout outs, so just check in my favorites. It's a really good series in there. One of the videos is linked about how that's the case. It's agnosticism. We just don't know. And I'm fine with the not knowing. For me, as a religious humanist, I'm more about acting as if. I don't really need the proof because I see the action yields positive effects, so I'm good with that. I don't need to understand how it works to use it. Just like I don't necessarily understand everything about my computer, but I know if I click these buttons and use the mouse in this way, I can get this stuff to work. I don't know every line of code, and I don't have to. And that's kind of where I'm at. I know you didn't ask me that, but I felt like that answered some question that you might have wanted to ask me. See, I'm thinking ahead. So yeah, I guess I've answered all of your questions. If I haven't, I know I'll get another video back. And, sorry that this went so long, but I wanted to give you some complete answers and elaborate. But now I'm getting long-winded, like all the blowhards on YouTube. So I'm going to have to start a 12-step program or something like that. Maybe I'll make a video about it. All right, take care, Joe. Thanks.